Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Although this is not my first video, this is my first time doing an unpopular opinions video. Of course it is going to be narrated by a robotic voice, because that is already a tradition. Without further ado, here are 10 of mine unpopular K-pop opinions. I will explain why I think that in each opinion, and some may be more generalized, while other may be about a particular idol. Number 1, Blackpink and Selena's Ice Cream deserved better. I think many people didn't give this song justice. I know many people only hear a song if they like it at first listen, but I think you should always give a second opportunity to a song. For example, at first listen, I didn't find ONEUS's Valkyrie anything out of ordinary, but a few days later I re-listened to it, and I was like, oh god, how could I have thought this as mediocre? It's a total bop, and the more times I listened, the more I loved it. Sometimes you just aren't in a day to listen to new songs and end up missing on some of your potential favorite songs. Other times, you just need a day to sort out the music. I think this happened to a lot of people with Ice Cream. At first listen I found it a bit messy, but a day after release I was already in love with the song. You should really give songs you didn't like at first listen a second chance. Another day, you may discover one of your favorite songs of the year this way. Anyways, Ice Cream was finally a Pink concept, and I just love how Selena blends with the music, and with Blackpink too. Many collabs feel like they are happening just because they can, but this one just feels like a genuine collab, and it's good that at least some K-pop groups are able to have collabs this way. The line distribution wasn't that bad too. Every member got its time to shine, and, overall, Ice Cream was the song of the K-pop summer, and we needed that. I just wished it was released earlier, because summer was almost ending at that point. Number 2, Not Shy was not it. ITZY is really a hit or miss for me. I loved Icy, and I disliked a lot Dalla Dalla. Wannabe was in between. Although Not Shy is not my least favorite ITZY title track, that would go to Dalla Dalla, I think this release was underwhelming, because the other three, even if I didn't like them, they were very iconic, and had their name all over the song. They really gave that distinct sound. However, this doesn't happen in Not Shy. This song doesn't have that ITZY distinct sound, and it really isn't any different from the previous releases. I'm not saying Not Shy is the same as the other ones, but yes, that the vibe of the song is similar, which, by itself, is not a bad thing. One of the things that triggered me in the song, when I first listened to it, was near the end of the bridge, where Chaeyoung would go, "Let the beat drop," but then the sound just stays the same as it was before the bridge, only a bit calmer, and then we go to the final chorus. I was really confused with that part, like, wasn't that supposed to be a dance break or something? I was really disappointed with that. Another problem I had with the comeback was the MV. It wasn't really distinctive, and I was tired from seeing them trying to get in front of the truck, like, for real. That made me feel anxious, because they took all the MV to steal the truck. Also, I didn't understand the meaning of the MV. They stole the truck, and then they went to a basement to eat desserts? They didn't even take what was inside the truck. Number 3, Mamamoo receive hate because haters, and, in general, many K-pop fans don't want them having success, since they are a group from a small company. This already happened with BTS, when they started going global, so I think now people are going even harder on Mamamoo to see if their success fades. Even ARMYs are doing it, which is a shame, because they should be supporting Mamamoo and Muumuus, because Mamamoo and BTS are friends. Moongil and Jin make part of the 92liners chat, and their past are similar. They both came from small companies, were on the verge of disbanding, but now they are two of the most influential K-pop groups. It's ridiculous the amount of hate Mamamoo receives. Haters come to the point of creating a culture that was never seen to accuse Hwasa of cultural appropriation, and people bought it, because they also don't want Mamamoo to succeed. Let's be real, Mamamoo have possibilities to be in the big three girl group spot this generation, and K-pop fans are afraid of it. My advice for these people is that they just start supporting Mamamoo because they are going to reach the top either way, so you can enjoy the trip this way. Number 4. Moo-moos into moons exaggerate about RBW's mistreatment. Talking about Mamamoo, I always found puzzling the hate that moo-moos, and to moons for the matter, have towards RBW Entertainment. In my opinion, they are complaining of what we can call first world problems, and here's why. These fandoms complain a lot about the non-existence of international activities, mainly moo-moos, which I find ridiculous, because seriously, moo-moos, think with me, do you see the hate train that Mamamoo is in? Do you really think that a few years back they would have made it? Their international fandom back then was much smaller, and K-pop stans had a bad impression of them. They wouldn't have survived if they decided to debut internationally. International moo-moos have grown a lot during last year, and I mean a lot. It seems that Mamamoo is finally receiving the international attention that they deserve, but that was only after Go-Go BB, and we know how busy they were last year. And this year we have COVID-19, so no, there will not be any kind of global tour this year, so don't ask for one now. Let's wait for next year, if they renew their contracts. About ONEUS, well, they already had concerts in the States, and they don't even have 2 years, which means they are still rookies, so the time will come. Don't forget that Korean fans have more possibilities to support the groups than international fans. The other common complaint about RBW is its inability to defend Mamamoo from all the hate. This one is a lot more plausible, but let's be real, which company can? JYP has a lot more resources than RBW, and still cannot even protect GOT7 from sassings. YG has also more experience, and can't do anything about the hate Blackpink receives. I do think RBW could do something more, but in no way they would be able to make the hate disappear. When that was a scandal happened recently, RBW didn't post any kind of statement, and I think it's because the TV station had already worked on it, and, as we came to know, the accusations were false, so I think RBW didn't want to give the haters too much attention. For real, there are so many good aspects about RBW, and all of their artists love to be part of that family, but fans are always complaining about little things. Imagine if Blinks complained this much about YG's mistreatment, or EXIL's, or many other groups from big companies. Number 5. RBW is one of the best companies in the K-pop industry. With the last point being made, let's move on to the assets of RBW. First thing is how much freedom their artists have. They can create musics, choreos, have their own YouTube channels, and, in general, they are very free. Which leads to the next asset, that is the happiness of their artists. For real, ONEUS are always saying that we should go to RBW auditions, and it is for some reason, and Mamamoo always treats the staff like they are family, and I think this shows the good environment that they live in RBW. Also, they always debut genuine artists, and we know this because in one of ONEUS's lives, they said that RBW is looking for people that are unique in their auditions, just like how Soho was accepted because of how his eyes look when he smiles, and that's why their artists feel so natural. Also, their vocal, rap and dance coaches must be really good because so far, their groups have been great in all 3 fields. They also invest a lot on their group's MVs, even ONEUS is having more investment, and I'm sure RBW have big plans for them. And let's not forget the quality of their musics. Their compositionists are so good that ONEUS's Raven even said that it's hard to have a song you made in your own album because the songs that RBW make are always top tier.
선물들을 드릴 때 정말 설레는 것 같습니다. 이번에 또 제가 혼란하다 알고 미리 원더케이에서 공개됐는데 콘텐츠로 정말 재밌으실 것 같아요. 항상 작곡가님들이랑도 하는 얘기지만 보너스 앨범이든 우리 RBW 앨범에 곡을 실기란 힘든 것 같아요. 최고의 작곡가분들이 모이셔가지고 진짜 아직은 실기 어려워요. 참 이번에 좀 실어봤는데 팀원분들이 좋아하실 것 같아요.
I could go on and on about this, but I think I made my point. Maybe in the future I make a single video about my opinions on RBW Entertainment because, yes, they already had their fair amount of questionable decisions, but I think that, overall, the positive things are more noticeable, and I hope they grow big in the future, just like Big Hit. At this point, if I was going to debut under an agency I wanted, I would choose RBW, and Big Hit would be a strong competitor also. Number 6. Wonwoong is the best dancer of the fourth generation. I don't think I have to say much more than gross, just look at him dance. However, it's sad how this is an unpopular opinion, because he really deserves more recognition. For short, Stan Talent, Stan One Us.
Stay high, almost keep the small. Though I try to resist, I still want it all. I see swimming pools and living rooms and Everglades. I see your little house on the hill and Trader's name. I see client.
Before you come after me, I know Enhypen's Nikki is a really good dancer, but as I'm writing the script, he hasn't debuted yet, so he doesn't really count. Also, although Nikki has a lot of skill and talent, I think Wonwoong has more experience, making his dance look even better, but I am no dance teacher, so don't trust too much my words. Number 7. This year's debuts are disappointing. I said what I said. I think, in general, this year's K-pop songs haven't been so good as last year. Well, these last months have been saving 2020's K-pop, but that's our topic for another time, but especially the debuts. Last year, we had such iconic debuts such as Dalla Dalla by ITZY, Crown by TXT, Breathe by AB6, Bonbon Chocolate by Everglow, Valkyrie by One Us, and so forth. All of these made a great impact on the industry and on the community. And, for my personal taste, most of them were very good, being some of the songs I played the most last year. But this hasn't happened this year. For comparison with last year, the most impactful debuts this year have been Ice Age by MCND, Who Dis by Secret Number, Tag Me by Weekly, Break All the Rules by Gravity and Boy by Treasure. I think it's pretty obvious the difference, in terms of success and impact, between these debuts and the ones mentioned earlier. Even Gravity, that had members from X1, didn't have that much success in South Korea, and we know how produced groups have huge success there. Don't get me wrong, they are doing good. They are the only rookie group that debuted this year that has received a music show win, but we can't say they had the impact that, let's say, ITZY had with Dalla Dalla. I was also expecting Treasure to do better, since they are also from YG, but the time of their debut was full of releases, so they had a lot of competition. However, they are doing really good as time passes, their fan base is already really strong. Secret Number was a big surprise for me. I really didn't like Who Dis, it even reminds me of Your Turn by Catchy for some reason, but their debut got a lot of attention, and their fan base is already very strong too. This leads me to the next part of this debuts that I don't like, my personal taste. My playlist of 2020's K-pop songs has almost no debut because I really didn't like or found really bland most of the comebacks. But Tag Me is for sure the debut of the year so far, 10 out of 10. I hope Unpopular can make this year a little more memorable for its debuts with their highly anticipated debut, although I preferred if they debuted next year, but alright, I guess. I was also hoping for Purple Kiss to save 2020, but it seems their debut has been delayed. Number 8, Big Hit is being sloppy lately. The way they handled BTS' comeback in the beginning of this year was really bad actually. I don't know what happened. Map of the Soul 7 was a missed opportunity in every way, from the title song to the concept, even the promotions. Big Hit made BTS very successful with intelligent strategies, but now that they are doing good, it seems that they don't care anymore. Now with B, they announced it in the end of September, and their comeback is near, and I still haven't heard much about it since then. They also did TXT Dirty in 2019. Until the debut was fine, during the first months was good too, but then they started to use the BTS younger brothers card way too much, and that damaged the integrity of TXT as a group. Also, the way they promoted Cat and Dog was so confusing that many people who were not MOAs thought that was their first comeback, when in reality it was just an MV for a B-side, and lost interest in them because they hated that song. That also killed the hype for their first comeback, since many people thought it was Cat and Dog. And their first comeback was also a bit late. They debuted at the beginning of March and had their first comeback at the end of October, and for a rookie group from a company with resources, that's a long wait, but this is understandable because the members were sick one after the other, and the members' health should come first. Also, who had the idea to make a first comeback with a full album with only 8 songs? That killed all the hype that could have been formed later when they announced it in the future, their first full-length album. It was their first release after debut, the hype was already big, it was unnecessary releasing a full album that can't even be considered a full-length album because it doesn't reach the 30 minutes mark. But I got more hopeful this year because they have been promoting TXT better, so let's hope Big Hit has learned its lesson. Number 9, international K-pop fans aren't in any way better than Korean K-pop fans. I have seen that international K-pop fans tend to dislike Korean K-pop fans and think that they are better fans than them because of the fact that when a scandal occurs, normally related to drugs, K-netizens tend to be really harsh on the artist and stop supporting them, and that can happen too if they became engaged, like what happened with Chen. This point of view is really distorted because many of K fans don't attack their faves like people make it to be. Many times it's just Korean haters. Also, they have a different culture, a more conservative one in fact. That's why they have many issues with their idols dating, or at least they did, because it's unfair to say that they are still the same ones that hated on Hyuna and Dawn. Since then they have changed. I mentioned the Chen case, and I'll stick to it. Although some fans had problems with his marriage, most of them supported him and showed love and happiness to him. Also, international K-pop fans are no saints too. If Korean fans overreact about the drug scandals, international fans overreact about the cultural appropriation scandals. Note, when I say overreact, I'm trying to say how the fans abandon their favorite groups and start hating on them, and not actually making the case more serious than what it really is, because both can be really serious. At this point, cultural appropriation lost its meaning and is applied to everything that may target specific cultures. We can't forget how international fans started hating on Wasa for making cultural appropriation of a vestment of Nigeria. Many of them don't even know where in Nigeria is, but still claimed that the dress Wasa was using was Nigerian. Spoiler alert, it had nothing to do with Nigeria. Many Nigerian people said that the vestments in question were not similar at all, joining this way the bandwagon hate to Wasa, which is seriously disgusting. The things that they said to Wasa are really unforgivable, and she was attacked for no reason. And cases like these are always happening nowadays, being that the reason why I said cultural appropriation lost its meaning. I could go on with this cultural appropriation issue, but that would turn this video way too long, and we are not here for that. My point with this was to show you how international fans can also turn their backs to their faves in a second, and it's not only the Korean fans. In fact, Korean fans tend to be more loyal to their artists, sometimes even too loyal, like when some idol does a mistake and they start attacking others and making excuses for their idol, which some international fans do too, but not as frequent. Korean fans spend more time and money in their favorite groups than international fans, and that's on stone, so in no way international fans are better fans than Korean fans, and I hate to read messages of international fans attacking Korean ones. Number 10. ARMYs are more toxic than Blinks. I'm actually really surprised that this is an unpopular opinion. In short, although I think the percentage of toxic Blinks may be higher than ARMYs, the level of toxicity of ARMYs is unbeatable. I'm always seeing at Soompi ARMYs bringing Blackpink down in posts related to Blackpink, and when you go to BTS related posts, you almost don't see the amount of toxicity from before. In fact, the toxicity you see, it's from ARMYs themselves. Comments like BTS made K-pop are really disrespectful to the prior generations, and how ARMYs are always trying to make everything about BTS, like how they are saying that there is no problem about the Big Hits concert with all the groups currently under the label, like Newest, TXT, Unhippin, BTS, G-Friend and 17, although 17 are not going for some reason, having its tickets very expensive because all of the people who are going to see the concert are ARMYs that will be there for BTS and can afford that. Do I need to state how many things are wrong, arrogant, disrespectful and toxic in that comment? And let's not forget how Dynamite was always an English comeback, but when it was released it achieved massive success, so ARMYs started treating it like a Korean comeback and sent death threats to YouTubers that did updates on views achievements because they were not including Dynamite, but Ice Cream was, and Blackpink didn't deserve to be on the list. Because 1, they are awful, and 2, because it's also in English, even when Ice Cream was always announced as a Korean comeback from their Korean full-length album. And this really happened. Don't forget that. ARMYs are capable of doing charity donations and other nice things, but they are also the most arrogant, disrespectful and toxic K-pop fandom out there, and that's the T. At least Blinks don't send death threats to YouTubers to include their English release single in the most viewed Korean comebacks that don't include Japanese comebacks, but for some reason English ones should, or at least Dynamite, because it's special. And we have all the double standards issue with BTS too, a thing that ARMYs do constantly, but that is for a future video. With this, I'm not saying Blinks are a good fandom, they have their problems too, but I'm seeing many people letting slide the things that ARMYs do. Well, this is it for my 10 unpopular K-pop opinions. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to comment your opinion down below, but don't forget to be respectful and nice. See you in the next video.
Fly me to the moon, 나를 데려가